The book I've chosen to do my independent reading project on is The Moon is Down by John Steinbeck. The Moon is Down by John Steinbeck is a historical fiction book based in the country of Norway during World War II when the Germans were occupying them. The main conflict in this book is between the oppressed and the oppressors. The setting of this book is once again in Norway, but the neat thing about it is that it's not inherently stated to be in Norway, and that'll be important later on. Another interesting thing in the book that was actually very controversial about it is that John Steinbeck wrote the Germans or Nazis to be very sympathetic to a degree. You could understand where they were coming from, as they actually had character besides they were just the evil guys in the book. They had character, and a perfect example of this is when one of the German officers is building a model bridge that he would like to use for something has at home, and it shows a desire for him to want to go home. And of course, the citizens of this town that is currently being occupied don't want to be working in the mines all day. Few quotes that I personally connect with in the book is I'm a little man and this is a little town. But there must be a spark in little men that can cause a burst into fire or a flame. Um, this I like this one because it shows that even in this little town, there's still that spark and that passion to overthrow the oppressors and go back to the way life was before the war. Another one I really like is the flies have conquered the fly paper. Basically, I love this one because it's something that, despite having an inherent advantage and being basically up against a direct thing that was supposed to oppress you, you defy the odds and you're able to free yourself. Um, the third quote is defeat is a momentary thing. A defeat doesn't last. We're defeated and now we attack. Defeat means nothing. Can't you understand that? Do you know what they are whispering behind closed doors? I love this quote because it comes in a part of the book where the townspeople are beginning to rile up. Goes back to that spark quote I had brought up earlier, and they're starting to spark, and there's a flame is almost burst out. And this is a quote by Mayor Ordain, and it's just to show that this town is going to explode into a flame. Um, the main idea of this book is that no matter what, the oppressed will always be defeated by. No, sorry, the oppressors will always be defeated by the oppressed. And that's just, and there's several quotes for this. One of the German officers, who actually was a German officer in World War One, who was occupying Belgium. At first, they were friendly, they were very nice, they were very kind, but all of a sudden, a switch flipped. As soon as they could, they wiped out the entirety of their oppressors and chased them out. And so this German officer knows this is going to happen, and it's interesting in this book, which is really why I love it, is you kind of already know the ending. Well, it's based on World War II, so you already know the ending. It's just John Steinbeck does a really good job at introducing these characters and having conflict between these characters that is very complex, especially with the German soldiers who also have a desire to go back home and live their lives. And this is, overall, I think The Moon is Down is hands down a very good book, and I would suggest that you read it if you are into history at all. It's a very interesting read, and the history behind this book is very, very, very cool. Basically, what had happened is that this book was obviously made illegal by the Nazis because it was released in 1942, which is the year the U.S. had joined, and John Steinbeck was recruited by the U.S. Air Force to create this book and try to spark the American public. But this book ended up being shipped overseas and translated into Norwegian, Danish, French, even German in some cases. And this book was used as exactly what one of the first quotes I brought up was. It was used as a spark for the little men or the oppressed to create a flame and spark up. And I think that's a really cool because this book is a part of that, a part of the resistance in a lot of these oppressed countries. And yeah,